At 6 a.m., the radar screens over Tehran were clear. Not a single blip. But 30,000 feet above the Syrian desert, the most expensive weapon system in human history was screaming toward the Iranian border. These weren't just planes. They were ghosts. 6 Israeli F-35 Adirs, armed with long-range, high-precision missiles. Their mission, Operation Roaring Lion, their target? A nondescript compound where the most powerful man in the Middle East, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, was sipping tea. 2 hours and 5 minutes later, the tea was cold, the compound was a crater, and the geopolitical map of the world was on fire. This is the minute-by-minute breakdown of the strike that decapitated a regime, and the global explosion that followed. The intelligence trap. How did they find him? For decades, the supreme leader was a shadow. But by late 2025, the shadow had a leak. According to leaked reports, the CIA hadn't just tracked his phone. They had mapped his biological patterns. They knew his medication schedule, his preferred prayer times, and exactly which room in the Tehran compound offered the least protection against a bunker buster kinetic penetrator. But why now? Iran was already bleeding. In 2025, the rial collapsed. People weren't just protesting. They were rioting for bread. The US and Israel saw a weakness window. They realized that if they struck the head of the snake while the body was starving, the entire system might fold. It was a gamble of historic proportions. Saturday morning, 9:40 a.m., the safe house near Pasteur Square. Inside, it's a who's who of the IRGC. The chief of staff, the defense minister, the head of the National Security Council. They think they're safe. They think the red lines of diplomacy will protect them. They were wrong. The first missile didn't just explode, it drilled. Using advanced thermobaric technology, it bypassed 3 floors of reinforced concrete before detonating. In 30 seconds, 30 of the most powerful men in Iran were vaporized. The old guard was gone. But as the smoke cleared, the world realized that killing the leaders doesn't kill the ideology. It just removes the leash. Within minutes, the second wave hit. 200 Israeli jets flooded the airspace, targeting S-300 missile batteries. But the IRGC's True Promise 4 protocol was already automated. From the mountains of western Iran, hundreds of Shahad drones and Fatah missiles clawed into the sky. The civilian toll? In the chaos, a girls' school in Manab was leveled. 175 lives. Was it a mistake? Was it a human shield situation? The Pentagon says investigating. But for the people of Iran, it was a rallying cry. The global artery. The Houthi rebels in Yemen immediately declared the Red Sea a dead zone. Suddenly, 12% of global trade stopped. If you're wondering why your gas prices just doubled, this is the reason. While the bombs fell, a different kind of war started in Washington. President Trump bypassed Congress entirely, invoking imminent threat to justify the strike. But the intelligence is murky. Was Iran actually days away from a nuke? Or was this a war of choice? Under international law, attacking a sovereign leader without a declaration of war is a legal nightmare. And then there's the shadow war. NATO has gone to high alert. Why? Because the IRGC has spent 40 years planting sleeper cells in Europe and North America. The fear isn't just a missile in Tel Aviv. It's a cyber attack on the power grid in London or a subway strike in New York. The front line is no longer just in the desert. The conclusion, the new Middle East. As we sit here today, Tehran is a city of two extremes. One half is celebrating the end of a religious dictatorship. The other is swearing a blood oath of revenge. The US says they've brought freedom. Iran's provisional government says they've started the end of the West. We are in uncharted waters. Is this the beginning of a democratic Iran or the start of World War III?